If you reject the conventional and embrace what's offbeat, guess what? It's time for Pillow Pete. 3 cheers! It's time for Pillow Pete. Fuck me! It's time for Pillow Pete.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Prattling with Pillow Pete. And today I have an incredible guest. I have YouTuber and artist LSMark. Mark, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. So, would you like to tell my audience a little bit more about yourself and the things that you do?
Yeah. I make videos mostly about animation and cartoons, but I also like talk about movies sometimes, some live action shows, video games occasionally. But I kind of just give my opinions on them and discuss certain topics revolving around the media in general, I guess.
Absolutely. That is very cool. I love your videos.
Nice.
Yeah, no problem. So to start off, what made you kind of want to get into making YouTube videos?
Back in high school, I would have been around 12 or 13, and my friends at the time they all had Minecraft channels where they'd record themselves playing Minecraft on their iPads or their computers, and they just upload them. And they just told me to do it too. And I was like, fuck yeah. Because I always wanted to do YouTube, but I never actually wanted to buckle down and actually get into it because I didn't know what to do. But I started doing that for a while, and they all kind of quit after around a couple months of doing it. But I kept going because I kept wondering, okay, if I quit now, my next video might be the one to blow up. And that was kind of the mindset I had for 3 years. Because I was uploading weekly for 3 years and getting nowhere. I got 100 subscribers after those 3 years. And I was trying lots of stuff. I was doing drawing videos, let's plays, videos where I'd talk about Sonic the Hedgehog news and just give my thoughts on it. But I kind of decided one day I would make a video about this other YouTuber called VLScom94, because I had a friend at the time who really, really liked him and didn't understand why I didn't like his videos. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just make a video talking about it. And it kind of blew up somewhat. It got a couple thousand views, which to me at the time was insane. So I was like, well, I guess I can do more of these. And that's how I started growing on YouTube, I guess.
Honestly, that is interesting how that video in particular is what kind of I guess got your name out there a little bit more. I will say I'm in the same camp. I do not understand the love people have for Valskabom. But that is interesting that that's pretty much what kind of got you a bigger audience. And along with that, so I know you have your drawing your caricature of yourself. Can you tell me more about I guess the art side of everything you do? With your thumbnails and everything, do you make those or do you get help? How does that happen?
Yeah. Sorry, no, that I got a cough in a minute, but I always liked doing art from when I was young. I'd get Sonic the Hedgehog figurines and pose them in different ways and just draw it on paper. And then I got an art tablet for Christmas one year whenever I was 15 or 16, and from there I tried drawing. And I remember one time commentary channels were getting really popular, the ones who would use little character stills to represent themselves. And I was like, oh well, as a fun little experiment, I'm just messing around in my art program. This is what I draw myself so I drew a channel icon at the time, and it was completely just me drawing Scott Pilgrim and doing such a bad job at it that I was like, this looks nothing like him. I'm just going to use it as my own thing. So I used that, and I made stills based off of it, and it just kind of grew from there. I had a friend who tried making a redesign of it one day where they made the hair more orange, because everyone confused I used a very light shade of brown, a fair color. So they just changed it because everyone thought it was orange when it wasn't. So they were like, just commit to it at this point. So I changed it to orange. I made the hair a lot more simple, and I changed the head shape, and that's kind of how I came with the avatar I have now. And I do draw. I have involvement in all the artwork that's made now, but occasionally, especially now since I don't even have an art tablet with where I've been the past couple months. I've been in LA, but I kind of just draw it like a rough sketch, really simple, like just to get the composition and the expressions across, and I give it to a friend to do.
That's pretty cool. Like whenever like that happens, like do you pretty much just like say like, oh, like maybe like change this about the sketch, or do you just kind of like let your friend just kind of have fun with it?
I do definitely like letting them have their own input into it, but I most of the time I have a kind of a vision for what I want. So the sketch that I kind of give them is already kind of finalized in my head. But I am open to other stuff too. But rarely am I ever like, go back and change this, because usually they bring it back the exact way I envisioned it.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I know like you were talking about like early on, whenever you would make art, you would just like pose like Sonic figures. Um, can you tell me more about like your love for Sonic and like how like I guess the franchise as a whole has influenced you? I mean, you don't have to go too in depth. Maybe I can get your friend Splash Dash on at some point to
Yeah.
discuss more Sonic.
Uh, my thing for Sonic is weird because I really don't know why I like it so much. Um, I guess it's a similar thing to the me not wanting to give up YouTube, because I was like, well, the next one though could be big. It was like an unwillingness to give it up in a way. I suppose I liked Sonic a lot as a kid. I got Sonic Heroes for the PS2 from my uncle once. I played the Mario and Sonic Olympics games, and from there it was kind of just like, oh, here's another game with Sonic on it, so I want that one too. Um, it was kind of like I have to experience all of it in a way, and I guess I just haven't been able to let that go. But in any way, it's kind of influenced me. I don't think it's influenced me in any kind of way, but it definitely is what got me to where I am now. Because I wouldn't have kept doing YouTube if I didn't transition to just making like random Sonic videos where I talk about the franchise. Because that kind of got me into more like commentary-esque content. So again, if it wasn't for Sonic, I wouldn't be where I am at the minute. So I'm pretty grateful.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, I'm like a huge Sonic fan as well, and like I feel kind of the same way, especially like as just being a fan in that aspect. Like one of the first games I ever played was Sonic 2 on the Sega Genesis,
Yeah.
and like that got me hooked, and like I've just been a fan ever since. Even though like lately, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Sonic, it's like people like always like just want to laugh at like the franchise as a whole. And like I get it, there's a lot of garbage in there, but I do think
Yeah.
there's like a lot of good. And that's kind of like where I'm at with it, where I'm like, well, I've been a fan for this long. It's like I've dedicated pretty much my entire life to liking that freaking hedgehog. So what I can't
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't imagine myself not being at least somewhat interested in what's going on with Sonic. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of in it for good at this point.
uh, the daily life of a Sonic fan, it's something else.
Yeah.
um, so I guess beyond that, I know like you definitely love Butch Hartman. You never
Course.
shy away from like criticizing him, but what about his work like kind of draws you to it, and like how has that influenced the things that you have done?
Butch Hartman thing is weird because whenever I made my first video criticizing him, I genuinely did like the guy at the time, because this is whenever everyone liked him. He was very popular online, and I just thought he was annoying because he had that like generic YouTuber persona that I really hated. But I watched that video, and many times I prefaced like, which seems like a good guy, but as we later find out, he's not he's not really. But I don't know. It's weird. Butch Hartman definitely has influenced me, probably in more ways than I think. But I think Butch Hartman shows the Fairly Odd Parents. Really, I never really watched much Danny Phantom. But the Fairly Odd Parents really give me a love for comedies that are grounded by the characters, and their relationships with each other. I really like that about that show, and of course I love the art style. I love I really don't like a lot of modern cartoons that have the really thin outlines. No, I love thick outlines in cartoons. Um, so my art style, I guess, it definitely was influenced by Butch in some way, even if unintentionally, but it more so came out of a way of a thing of like, well, this is just how I draw, you know. I wasn't intentionally like, I'll draw this in the Fairly Odd Parents style, but yeah, no, it was very. I got to meet him recently in January. Me and uh, I started a podcast with my girlfriend, and
Oh.
we messaged Butch Hartman, just going like, "Hey, want to come on our podcast?" We didn't name the podcast. We didn't say anything about it, give him any details or even a link, and he was like, "Yeah, sure." So we drew. I flew all the way to LA. That's why I'm here right now. I flew all the way over here just to interview Butch Hartman in his office, and it was a very surreal experience. It was very cool because seeing all his artwork and stuff was definitely like, I don't know, it was very cool. You kind of realize then how much that kind of stuff means to you and how much it has influenced you over the years.
That is incredible. I had like no idea that like you actually did that. Can you tell me like what it was like meeting him? Especially with like again, like you clearly enjoy his work, but it's like you like don't shy away from like criticizing. Like, was he even aware of that? Because like again, I've never met him, but like from what I can tell, he seems like the kind of person that like he doesn't really like any kind of criticism.
From what I've heard, he really doesn't like me.
Oh,
I've heard stories from people at different companies like, oh yeah, he's talked about you before. He does not like you. Um, so we very intentionally didn't mention my name in any of it. Whenever I met him, I was like, "Hey, my name is Mark," but I made an effort to not say what I did online. And at one point, he was like, "Oh, before you guys leave, you have to show me your social medias." And I was like, "Fuck, what do I do?" But thankfully, he forgot about that by the end of the day. But uh, I I don't know. There were certain points whenever we'd be talking to him, and he'd just like stare into my eyes, and I'd just be like, "One any second now, he's gonna fucking, it's gonna like click in his head. He's gonna realize who I am." But if he did a good job at like staying professional and calm, and didn't mention it at all to me. So I don't know. He was actually very nice when we met him. I gotta say, still don't like a lot of his actions, but to me and Veronica, he was very very nice.
oh man, like I mean, at least like that went well. Like that does suck that like I guess like if he said things like behind your back or whatever like to other people in studios like that is unfortunate. I am surprised though that like I guess like he was able to like remain professional because like the one clip that like always pops into my head is whenever he's like, oh, critique week, and it's like that, why would anybody say that, like especially as an artist? It's I don't know. He is interesting from everything I've seen and heard.
He's very interesting. There's a lot about him that no one knows. I gotta say that like isn't on the surface. He has a lot of weird like scammy companies that I think, I don't know. I have to look into them someday to really to get to know what he's trying to accomplish. But he's a weird guy for sure.
Yeah, then what do you mean scammy? I mean, you're telling me Oaxis doesn't seem like the next coming of Christ?
Yeah, he has Oaxis, but then he also has these weird like seminars he does where it's like you go to my seminar and you're gonna be set up for success, you know, shit like that. It's really weird.
That is weird. My God, like I'm just turning this into an entire Butch Hartman podcast at this point. um, I guess beyond him though, I know like online, like it's like every time like you make videos, it's like most of the time you're just like, oh, like these are my opinions on like certain shows and movies. But for some reason, so many people like they act like you're just trying to state that as like it's a fact. And I can't wrap my head around it. I swear I've never even seen like another YouTuber who gets like that much flack, at least like from like that direction. Like how do you like kind of handle that?
I don't know. It's kind of a thing where I know years ago, whenever I was a commentary channel, I would just sit and argue with people for days. If someone said they didn't like my stuff, I would go like, "Well, why? Tell me why." And then they'd tell me why, and I'd be like, "Well, this is why you're wrong about this and this and this." Now it's like I don't care. I really just don't. I kind of put all my attention away from like YouTube is what I do for a job, but it's definitely not my social media is definitely not something I try actively keeping up with. I don't even look at my channel analytics really. Um, so it's just I don't know. I've had the time to kind of separate what's genuine criticism and what isn't. When someone's willing to give me genuine like criticism of like of my videos or the way I act, I'm like, completely fair. But if someone just like I can tell if someone hits me just because I said it in like a movie that they thought was good, you know. I definitely think it's because of my I guess in my videos I have a way more abrasive kind of personality. I'm very much like, here's my thoughts. I'm not gonna fucking be like, it's okay if you like it though, you know. I just all my opinion, you know, I just kind of say because I feel like that's kind of dumb to have to reiterate that all the time because it should kind of be a given. But I don't know. I guess some people just don't like that. And honestly, whatever. Fair. I don't care. I'm doing fine without them.
I don't blame you. Like, and like I've been like one to ask you. Like, obviously, I got you on the podcast today, but like the whole time I've always been wondering that. And then like you recently had that video talking about the SpongeBob spinoffs, and I'm just like, oh my god, people like you're not even the only one. It seems like a lot of people get angry if it's like, oh, you don't like modern SpongeBob, and it's like, sorry, it's like I don't think it's that good.
That's the thing is that like I see a lot of people like just openly shit on certain shows like Family Guy, but whenever it comes to something like modern SpongeBob, they're like, no, that you can't criticize that one. Like even if it's bad, you can't criticize it because people work on that show, you know? People try hard on that show. It's like so do they do for Family Guy as well, but you still shit on that all you want. It's weird it's weird like selective like hate, and I don't get it. Like certain things are fine to make fun of, but certain things aren't. I don't really understand. It's weird.
Yeah, like I feel the exact same way. And like yeah, it's like people love like just completely shitting on Family Guy. And then like I see a lot of people who like they'll see like one joke and they're like, oh my god, Family Guy's actually funny. And it's like, yeah, it can be. I know a lot of it's garbage, but like I don't know.
Yeah.
People on Twitter, especially Twitter, it's they confuse me with that sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, I guess moving on. So, like, back to like your videos, and speaking of like Family Guy, can you tell me about how you created like your entire episode ranking videos for like Simpsons and Family Guy? Like, how did you even manage like huge videos like that?
The Simpsons one was definitely more of a I want to get this done in a month. So I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make sure this video is done within the next month. So I would watch a season a day. Some days I'd like fall back and only watch like half a season. So the video got delayed by a couple of weeks because of that. But generally I'd watch a full season of the show a day, which is around 8 hours worth of content. And I'd write about it. Like I'd watch the episode, and when it's done, I'll just immediately write my thoughts in a quick paragraph and then move on to the next one and do the same. Then whenever I would finish a season, I would record it all, then send it off to an editor. And while I'm watching the next season and writing about it and doing the audio, they're editing that one. So it's kind of like a constant process of getting it like working on it all at once. So but for Family Guy, it was way worse. I did not like working on the Family Guy one at all. It was I kind of was like, you know what? I'll give myself some time. I'll start it in September, like right after the Disney one. I was like, I'll start watching Family Guy, and I want to have it out by December. So that gives me like 4 months to work on this. Um, and it was the wrong move because I watched like the first 5 seasons, and I was like, well, I don't need to write about it right now because I've got 4 months. So I watched the first 100 episodes of the show without writing a thing, and by the time I started writing my thoughts, it's like I have to go back and write about the first 5 seasons. I don't that's going to take so fucking long, and I have to remember all the details about the episodes and my thoughts and where to rank them. And it was a mess. That video was very much a mess to work on. And it was split between like 5 editors, and like a lot of them were editing in different styles, and some of them were editing in like September, but then also I'd do more work in like December, so their editing style would have slightly changed by then. That video was like literally worked upon until the last possible minute. I definitely think I work better with deadlines. It kind of forces me to have to work, and I don't feel like I can afford to be lazy.
Yeah, that is. I I honestly can't even imagine that. That sounds like such an insane like process to go through. Like, how did you even end up going about like rendering something like that long? Like, I'd be petrified of like anything happening in like that process.
Yeah, the Simpsons one was a nightmare because I had to render that one in Ireland. My computer's way worse there. On the internet is way worse there too. I think it took a full 12 hours to render, and then whenever I was uploading it, it finished, but it was processing for like a full day. and I looked it up after the full day, like 24 hours, and it was like, oh yeah, sometimes YouTube videos just get stuck on processing. So I had to delay the video by another day, completely re-uploading the entire thing again. It wasn't fun. But the Family Guy one was actually, it only took like fucking 2 hours to render, uploaded in like 1 hour. Like, it was great.
I guess your computer loves Family Guy more.
Yeah, yeah.
um so with like stuff like that, like do you think we'll see like more ranking videos of like that size, or are you probably taking like a long break from huge videos like that?
I don't know. I feel like the appeal of it is that it's very bingeable content. Like, what I'm saying is very like basic and simple. Like, it's literally just a quick summary of like, oh, I thought this one was like fine because of this, this, and that. So I think it kind of works better for long form content. Like, if a show only had like 50 episodes, then I'm not really that interested. I'd rather just make a solo video just discussing the whole thing in general. But for longer shows, I definitely want to try get like at least two of those out a year, like one in June or July, and then one in December to end the year.
All right, yeah, that's cool. I'll definitely keep an eye out for them, because I mean I've really enjoyed those videos, especially like the Simpsons one. Like that one, whenever it came out, like me and my brother pretty much set aside like a whole day just to watch it.
Oh wow, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. It was a lot of fun, and like the Family Guy one, like even though it sounds like you didn't have as much fun with it, I thought it was hilarious because like it is so quick. Like just seeing how it's like, oh yeah, the first couple seasons, it's like they're so good, and then it just such a fast
Yeah, it
decline.
was
And
very quick. Yeah.
um, so I guess like speaking of like shows and stuff, I know this is like very specific, but like I know like you had a video talking about the Prince, and like that just looked like complete garbage. That show, like I have not even given it a chance myself. But have you seen like that new show called Fairview? And if you have, like, how is that compared to something like The Prince?
I actually haven't. I know what it is. I always see it advertised before the new South Parks. Uh, to me, it just seems like another one of those Comedy Central shows that they're trying to push out to just kind of replicate the appeal of South Park without really understanding what it is. Like the Legend of Chamberlain Heights from a couple years back tried to do the same thing on Comedy Central. I actually in the next like month, I am planning on making a video about Fairview among some other shows like within the one contained video, all revolving around a certain topic. So I guess I will have to start watching Fairview in like a month or so, which I'm not looking forward to.
Oh God. Oh, I feel so bad for you, man. Like every time like I've seen ads for it, I'm just like, this, it looks awful. Again, like, I get it, people work on it, but like, man, these shows, like, they get pumped out like all the time. It's like no one's gonna remember Fairview in like a year.
Yeah, no, the people working on it don't even like it. Everyone who works on adult animation, like those kinds of adult animations, just seem miserable, really, really miserable because they're given these awful, awful jobs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even blame them. Like if I had to work on something like that, I'd probably feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
But I guess moving on to probably maybe a better show. I know you've been working on like that pilot. Like, is there like any information like you can talk about today? Like before like the actual at least episode comes out?
My pilot is something that I've been working on for since 2020, but it's definitely been on and off. If I were spending all my time working on it, it would have been out by now. But it's a thing where every couple of months I'll come back to it and be like, I'll spend a good few months like working on it nonstop. Right now, is the closest I am to really finishing it. We're right about to start the animation process for real. We've done a couple expression tests, a couple like movement stuff for the animation, just to test how the rigs work and the kind of general style that I want the animation to be. So we're gonna start animating that hopefully within the next month. I want to get it, and I want to get it out by the end of the year. I don't know how possible that's gonna be. 9 months to animate an 11-minute thing on an indie like kind of budget and time schedule, but I definitely want it to be out this year. In terms of what it is, I really don't want to make it that like serious or deep. It's just kind of like an 11-minute like little comedy short that like I said before, it's kind of grounded by the characters and their relationships and what they're going through. I think that's what's most important to me. I've done a lot of time thinking about if I were to do more, what I would want to do, and I've kind of planned out a solid groundwork for a general thesis of what I would want to accomplish, what kind of point I'd want to make, and I really hope that I really hope I get to do it. Because even if because the first thing someone makes isn't going to be the best thing in the world. I'm fully prepared for the comments of like, you shit on people's shows for a living, but this is what you make. I'm fully prepared because it's like, well, if my first thing is like this, then that only means the second can be better. There's nowhere to go but up. I really hope. I don't know. I know a lot of people don't like me, but I hope people at least give it a chance and don't just shit on it because I can get back at him for shitting on a thing I like.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I would like to hope people would like give it at least like a fair chance. I mean, obviously, always there's gonna always be people who just like want to hate something just for the sake of it. But um, I do wish you the best with that, especially like just how long you've like been like trying to like get I guess like get it going.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. And like, I guess like, could you tell me a bit more about? Because I know you said you're actually going to start trying to get like the animation process like really going. Um, how do you plan on like going about that? Because like I know like you live like in Ireland. I know like right now you said you're in LA, and actually like the last person I had on my podcast, Rebecca Kartzmark, I've seen that like she has done at least like some tests for it.
Yeah,
Like,
Rebecca's a good friend of mine.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, in terms of the animation, I went with rigs pretty early on because I'm very picky about things staying somewhat on model. I noticed in a lot of indie animations that are frame by frame, because obviously it's lower budget and it's more freelance people, that you're not gonna get that TV quality. And I really really want to make something that's of TV quality in terms of animation and writing. So I was like, well, rigs, it seems like a good way to go. Because at least then I'm not going to be picky about it being on model, because it'll always be on model. So I contacted Rebecca, who helped me get the ball rolling on that, because I knew she had followed me, and I knew she worked on at Mercury on shows like Hilda and stuff like that. So she's been a great help. And then after a while, every time I'd have a question about my rigs, I'd be like, hey Rebecca, like what do I do with this? And she'd be like, oh well, let me take a look at it. And she'd open it and she'd like make a little quick animation with it. And it just came to the point where I was like, look, I'll add you to the servers just so it's easier to talk to everyone and give them advice. And then after a while, it was just kind of like, oh, I guess you're working on this now, because she just stuck around, and I just kept helping with it and was like, I can animate a couple scenes. And I was like, oh, okay, great. But no, Rebecca, if it wasn't for Rebecca, my project wouldn't be anywhere near where it is now, I don't think.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean that's cool how that kind of turned out. And like whenever like it actually gets finished, like I mean, I assume like it'll just be uploaded to like YouTube or just anywhere online. Like, do you have like plans of
Yeah,
like maybe trying to like pitch it to like a network, or like have you even like thought of like that far about it?
I would love to pitch it to a network. I'm definitely going to put it on YouTube to start. At first I was like, oh, I'll put it on a different channel, a separate channel. But no, it's like, I got to be confident in what I make. I'll put it on my main channel. Uh, I want to get as many people to see it as possible. And I hope they'll like it. And maybe if enough people like it, I'd be interested in definitely pitching it to a network or a streaming service or something like that.
Yeah. And like if you ended up getting to that point, like what would probably be like your first like go-to, like what favorite like network or like streaming service would you like really want it on?
I think if I were to pick any, I would pick Netflix just because it has the widest reach. But that's obviously shooting very high. But if I were to like pick any dream one, Netflix definitely.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean they pick up like a lot. I mean, I would like to imagine you'd have a decent shot, especially going back to shows. It's like I know it's not like Netflix, but like something like Fairview. It's like if something like that can get like on like TV, it's like I feel like you would at least have a decent shot. But I don't know.
I hope so.
It's like I don't greenlight shows, so maybe I'm just thinking too kindly. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, and going over to like a completely different topic, but I guess it's still like in the creation realm of things. Like, Can you tell me about like your outro song and like how that was created and like who made it and everything like that?
My outro song was completely like I don't know how to word it, but it wasn't anything I planned. My outro song just used to be it used to be Stardust Speedway from Sonic CD, which is a song I really like. But I I uh I got an email one day from someone, and he was just like, "Hey, I like your videos and I make music, so if you ever want an outro, just ask me what you want. I'll make it for what you want." And he was like, "Oh, I'll just do it." And I was like, "No, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that." So I was like, "Yeah, just here's a bunch of songs that I like and the vibe I want to go for, and do what you like, have at it." And his name was Nick, and he came back with that, and I was like, "Oh, this sounds good, actually." So they just started using it, and apparently people like it. I'm glad.
Yeah, like it honestly like it does like just remind me of like something like probably something I could hear in like Sonic Mania.
Yes, yeah, one of the tracks I definitely sent him was Studiopolis.
Nice. Yeah, it's a really cool sounding song. Like that's interesting that like that's how that worked. Like at least like in terms of like getting something made. Um, but
Yeah, I think you did a
anyway,
good job.
so I guess let's see. Okay, completely unrelated to like anything. Can you tell me, or at least like give like maybe a rough idea of like what the LS and LSMark stands for? I know you get asked that a lot, but I had to
Yeah,
ask
no,
since I got you.
I understand, but I'll never tell.
Oh,
Uh, it's what was I gonna say? It's like it was made by a friend of mine. It wasn't my decision. My friend was like at the time in school, high school, was like, we're all gonna make YouTube channels and we're all gonna make our name LS and then followed by our name, uh so uh I was LS Mark, obviously, and it stood for something, but it was like a clan name. It was a really, really cringy clan name that people wouldn't even understand because it's like an Irish like slang word. So I don't know. It's weird. It's like I kind of don't want to tell anyone because it's kind of it's just cringy, you know. It's like, ugh.
I completely understand. Like, um, I feel
Yeah,
similar with like my YouTube name because I made it when I was like 12. It's just Pillow Pete. And I'm like, it was literally at the time like I loved pillow pets, and I'm like, oh, why don't I just add an E there? And
yeah,
uh such a cringy name, but I'm not gonna pry you to reveal that.
yeah. No, I think it's funny that people don't know. I think it's funny that people keep asking, and I don't know. I like everyone making up their own little like thing for what it means.
Yeah. And I guess like this is going to be like a horrible segue, but I guess like kind of going back earlier about, I guess it's not like really controversy, but like how people just like love to hate on things. I know you like stuff like Five Nights at Freddy's. What's like your opinion? Because like I know a lot of people were upset with like the creator like Scott Cawthon. Like, what
Yeah.
was like your take on like that entire situation?
Um, my main takeaway was just like fucking whatever, dude. I don't care. I don't know. I really find it hard to care about that kind of stuff and get riled up nowadays. I can't remember the last thing where I've genuinely gotten really pissed about it. Um, I don't know. I'm trying to think what my reaction was because if I remember, what did he do? He donated to uh was it Trump? He donated to Trump, wasn't that what he did, or he voted for Trump?
I think it was both, but honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. He donated to like Republican parties. That was it. And people got annoyed because I think those Republican people uh had views against it's either gay people or trans people. I forget which. Um but it's kind of to me it was kind of just a thing of like this is something that we should never know, you know. I don't want to know about the guy who really made this kind of stuff. I just want to enjoy the games and kind of the franchise. Like if the creator is like, if people think the creator is a piece of shit, then I don't know. That doesn't affect my view of it, no matter, well, I guess not no matter what they did, but I don't know. I just I was like, whatever, dude. I don't like Five Nights at Freddy's because of Scott Cawthon. I like fucking Freddy Fazbear, you know?
No, yeah, absolutely. Like I pretty much kind of operate like the same way with things because like if I just ended up like completely like disregarding things I liked just because like the creator or like maybe somebody like on a crew did something wrong, it's like I probably wouldn't like any shows or games. So it was interesting. I'm like I get people's like sentiments where it's like, yeah, it's like I mean, I don't really agree with like right leaning like political stuff either, but like I don't know. People I think just take it a
Yeah,
little
no.
too far.
It's like I get it. I definitely get it. But at the same time, for me, it's like you could find a problematic person with literally everything. Like that, with every franchise, there's probably someone who has had some kind of involvement with it at some point that has done something shitty. So you're really gonna start picking it apart at that point to like, oh, you can't enjoy this now because the creator did this. It's like, nah, I don't care. I like what I like.
Yeah, absolutely. And like it honestly, like it wasn't like funny like with this situation, but like I remember I think it was like Vivzy Pop got tied into it because like she was saying like, oh, like Scott Cawthon like deserves like all of like this doxing and stuff. And then people decided to like I think dox her. And I'm just like, you people are insane. Like what what are you
Yes,
guys doing?
completely forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot that was even a thing. That's kind of the thing too. It's like, why even give it the Vivzy Pop thing, where she ended up getting doxxed because she gave her thoughts on the Scott Cawthon thing. To me, it's like, why even give your thoughts in the first place? Why is it worth it? You know, I don't even know what you think. It's kind of, I don't know. It's weird to me. It's
It
a really weird
is.
situation. It's kind of just like the Five Nights at Freddy's fan base is very, very passionate. You're kind of setting yourself up by doing that, you know.
No, yeah, like I honestly like I've never even played any of the Five Nights at Freddy's games. Like, I mean, I think they look cool, but I definitely do know like that the fans are very passionate. Maybe not as insane as like Sonic fans, but I don't know. Maybe they're kind
Yeah.
of close. Um, and I guess like speaking of stuff like that, have you ever gotten like any like flack or anything for like using like clips of Wings of Redemption in your videos? Like that always gets a laugh out of me, but I don't know if people have like ever been upset by that.
I have never seen uh a person get upset about me using a Wings of Redemption clip. Uh, Even if they did, though, I'd still use them anyway. I think they're funny.
Oh yeah. I mean, especially like how Wings is like he is a very baffling person to me.
Yeah, I love looking into that stuff.
God, same here. I've been like watching a lot of like videos on him lately, and like he gets crazier the more I hear about him.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, absolutely. Um, yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything I wanted to talk about. Like, was there anything else like you wanted to like let the audience know about like anything you do? Or like was there anything else you wanted to like, cover today?
No, just thanks for having me on. I'm sorry I ran late. I was out at Target all morning with my friend Ricardo because we wanted to look for the Sonic movie 2 figures that just came out today. Uh, and I looked at my phone. I didn't have internet because I'm an American. I don't even have an American SIM card. And I looked at my phone with the Target Wi-Fi, and I was like, shit! I completely fucking forgot I said that one, not two. So I had to rush home.
Oh my goodness, yeah, it's not a problem at all. Like I really appreciate that you even came on. I was surprised because I pretty much just jumped into like your Twitch channel. I'm like, I wonder if Mark would like want to come on. And like
Yeah,
I
that's the thing.
was
I don't do many podcasts, but it's no reason other than just I don't get asked a lot, you know.
I guess that's fair. And like speaking of I guess like with your Twitch, um I have a friend, I think he said he like goes on there frequently enough. I guess he just wanted me to tell you he really likes your content and he says hi. His name I believe on Twitch is VD Spooky.
Yeah, I know them. I recognize that name. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
thanks.
I'll be sure to pass the kind words over to him. But aside from that, like I guess do you want to just like tell the audience like where they can find you like on YouTube and everything?
Sure, yeah. You can find me on YouTube at LSMark. You can find me on Twitch at LSMark, and you can find me at Twitter at LSMark.
hopefully people can find you easy. I'll try to link
Yeah.
everything in the description. But
Thanks.
yeah, no problem. But I guess that's everything. And I guess real quick, the last thing, are you cool with me like using your outro song like for like the outro of like this podcast episode?
Yeah, of course. Just link the Nick's SoundCloud.
All right, cool. I can absolutely do that. Well, thank you so much, Mark, for coming onto the show. I had a lot of fun. Like I said, maybe I can get your friend Splash Dash on to talk about Sonic sometime. But aside from that, this was a great episode. Thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem. Take it easy, man.